Did you know that Halloween is the one night when the line between our world and the spirit world is at its thinnest? Some even say that's when spirits roam freely, desperate to finish the business they left behind. So, what if you spent Halloween night in one of the most haunted houses in America? A place with a gruesome history and ghostly legends? Well, buckle up, because I did just that. And let's just say, I might not be the same since. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight's video is a Halloween special because I did something a little crazy. I spent the night in one of the most haunted mansions in the area, Hartfield Manor. With its tragic history and rumors of restless spirits, I knew this place would be unforgettable. I wanted to see if the stories were true, to feel that rush, that thrill, and maybe even catch a glimpse of something beyond this world. I'll share every eerie detail of the night, from the house's chilling past to the terrifying moments we experienced. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. So let me set the stage. Hartfield Manor was built in the 1800s by Charles Hartfield, a wealthy businessman with a reputation for throwing the most lavish Halloween parties of the time. But one Halloween night, disaster struck. A fire broke out in the manor, and many guests perished in the chaos. Since then, people have reported strange sightings, ghostly figures dancing in the ballroom, cries echoing in the halls, and the spirit of a woman in distress. The locals believe Charles Hartfield and his guests were cursed, trapped in an endless Halloween night. Despite the terrifying legends, I knew I had to see it for myself. I wanted to experience the manor's dark energy firsthand and learn if the tales of hauntings were just old folklore or something far more sinister. But with so many stories of people leaving the house traumatized, I had serious doubts about making it through the night. Would I see Hartfield and his ghostly guests? Or worse, would I come face to face with the curse itself? To prepare for the night, I gathered all the essentials: a flashlight, a voice recorder, a camera, and thankfully, a couple of brave friends who agreed to come with me. Before entering, we talked about our fears and expectations. One friend thought we'd encounter a ghost, while the other insisted we'd just scare ourselves over every creak and shadow. But deep down, we were all a bit nervous. As we approached the house, the air grew cold, and a heavy silence settled over us, almost as if the mansion was waiting. We stepped inside, our flashlights casting long shadows across the peeling wallpaper and dusty floors. The house felt alive, with a palpable energy that seemed to grow as we moved further in. Each room was filled with remnants of the past: an old piano covered in dust, a grand staircase winding into darkness, and portraits with eyes that seemed to follow us. It was clear we were not alone, and the deeper we went, the more we felt an invisible presence watching us, waiting for us to make a mistake. It was well past midnight when the strange events escalated. As I wandered the eerie silence of Hartfield Manor, a soft, otherworldly melody began to echo through the halls. The sound was faint, like an old record playing from another room. I followed the music to the grand ballroom, the very place where Hartfield's Halloween party had ended in tragedy all those years ago. I pushed the heavy doors open, my flashlight flickering as I stepped inside. The ballroom was vast, lined with cracked mirrors and tall, dusty windows that seemed to swallow all light. Then, out of the shadows, ghostly figures began to materialize. Guests from a party long gone, their clothes tattered and worn, their faces pale and lifeless. They moved in an eerie, slow-motion dance, waltzing to the ghostly tune that drifted through the air. My heart pounded and I froze, transfixed as I watched them float across the room, seemingly caught in an endless loop of that final Halloween night. As I took a shaky step back, one of the dancers broke away from the group, gliding in my direction. Her hollow eyes met mine, her face twisted in silent anguish. Her lips moved as though she was trying to speak, but no sound came out. Then she reached out a trembling hand toward me, her fingers cold and skeletal. I stood there, too terrified to move, as her touch left an icy chill on my skin that seeped deep into my bones. The air grew heavier, and I could feel other eyes on me, pressing from every corner of the room. I wanted to run, but the doors were gone, replaced by dark, unyielding walls. Panicking, I turned back to the ghostly figures, who had now stopped dancing, all staring at me with empty, haunted eyes. The music swelled, discordant and piercing, each note stabbing through the silence, and the floor beneath me seemed to pulse, as though the house itself was alive and watching. From behind me, a low, shuddering whisper echoed through the room. "Finish it. Finish what he started." The voice was barely audible, but seemed to come from every direction. I turned and saw the spectral figure of Charles Hartfield emerging from the shadows, his face twisted with rage and desperation, his eyes filled with a terrifying intensity. He pointed to a tattered journal on an old wooden pedestal. The pages fluttered open, revealing symbols I couldn't understand, lines and scrawls that looked like desperate cries etched in ink. With trembling hands, I reached for the journal, but as I touched it, the air exploded with whispers. They overlapped, pleading, "Free us! Finish it! Don't leave us here!" The voices grew louder, filling my ears until I could hardly think. Then, a new sound pierced the air, a deep, anguished wail, mournful and desperate, filling the room with sorrow. I turned to see the woman reaching for me again, her face filled with unspeakable pain. Just then, the lights shattered, plunging the room into darkness. I felt cold hands grip my shoulders, pulling me back, icy breaths against my neck, voices pleading, "Don't leave us. Don't abandon us." My chest tightened as I tried to break free, but the ghostly hands held tight. Desperation took over, and I clutched the journal to my chest, whispering a promise. "I'll help you. I'll help you find peace." The grip on my shoulders loosened, and the energy shifted, almost as if the spirits were waiting, hoping. But Charles's face twisted in rage, his eyes burning as he stepped closer as if to say, "They can never leave." With a surge of strength, I bolted, my flashlight flickering as I sprinted through the ballroom. Just as I reached the door, a powerful force shoved me forward, sending me sprawling into the hallway. I scrambled to my feet and looked back. The figures were gone, the ballroom silent once more. Clutching the journal, I stumbled down the stairs and out of the manor, the faint sound of that ghostly waltz following me until I finally reached the cold morning air. Even now, the voices and faces haunt me, echoing in my mind, begging for release. After what felt like an eternity, I made it into the morning light. Reflecting on that night, I'm not sure I'll ever look at Halloween the same way again. The spirits of Hartfield Manor remain, and the curse holds them still. I don't know if I helped them, or simply disturbed something that should have been left alone. Would I go back? Not without a lot of convincing. That night showed me the power of the past and the horrors that lie waiting for the curious. All right, guys, that wraps up my Halloween night at Hartfield Manor. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a paranormal experience? Tell me your story in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more spooky adventures. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.